Say anything. Say anything. With Keena B. Why can't we just say anything? With Keena B. Welcome to a new year. Hey, and welcome to Say Anything with Keena B. I am Keena B. Thank you so much for joining me. I am, sitting in Wimbius Market, located in Quincy, Florida. It is an art gallery and gift market, and it's a beautiful day. It's cold though, it's chilly, about 50 some odd degrees outside. But by the time you see this, Happy New Year. So today, we are going to talk about the thing that a lot of people are talking about, and that is resolutions. However, I'm not a believer in resolutions. I am, however, a believer in having a vision for yourself. And the vision can change from year to year, but overall, there should be something that you dream for yourself that you can practically attain by taking steps toward it. And even if you never actually attain the full vision, you can attain levels of it. I've been doing vision boards since I was in elementary school. It was something that I learned very early in life, along with writing and journaling. The last couple of years before my business began, I did a lot of vision boarding. But I have to say the largest vision board, literally the largest, not just in concept or ideas of what I wanted to do with my life, but physically the largest vision board I ever did was when I was in my early 20s. I had graduated from undergrad and I wasn't quite sure of how I was going to do the things that I wanted to do, but I knew that I needed to in some way capture it so that I could see it daily in order to remind myself of what I envisioned for myself. And so, being the artist that I am, I did it on my bedroom walls. I drew out, I collaged, I wrote down in a journal and on my walls the vision that I had for myself, and it actually took up a lot of space. And the wonderful thing about that is that at the time, my mother was not concerned. She did not fret about it. If I had been, 5 or 6 and had drawn on my walls, I probably would have got a spanking. But early 20s and drew on my walls, and she didn't say a word. Like, never said anything other than, okay. And I don't know if it was because she knew where I was at that time in my life, or what. I really don't know. It's a question that I should ask her. But I drew my vision on the walls. And here's what I found. That was my early 20s. I'm 44 as of this taping. I'll be 45 in 2026. Here's what I've learned about having a vision for yourself. It's okay if the vision changes. And it's okay if whatever the mountaintop part is, if you don't reach the particular pinnacle, as long as you're striving for the pinnacle. And then every year, you're doing something that helps you get further to that pinnacle of what you're trying to attain. So that is what this episode is about. This episode is really about how vision boarding is better than resolutions in a practical sense. And I also think, in my opinion, emotionally, it's better for you. Because visions tend to be long-term goals that can be attained over a lifetime, that you're striving for over a lifetime, versus those things that are short-term goals, meaning anything within a year or less. It takes a lot more steps to get there, to the vision, right? But also, there is an element of how your perception helps to view whether or not you're actually attained your vision or not. Sometimes we can't see the forest for the trees. We've attained it without even realizing it. And if we step back and look from a different perspective, we're already there. We are already where we were aiming to go. And the vision has now shifted and incorporates other things. So, as an example, I do have the original, the one I did in my 20s. I have pictures of it. And I have it written down in a journal, but I won't bother you with that one. I will show you an example of the ones that I did in 2024 and the ones that I did in 2025. They're back and front because they're continuous to me. They don't stop. I collage. I use a lot of magazine, newspaper, different things that are just around. And some of the things for 2024 have fallen off. And on the back side is 2025. I like words because I like to write. So I use a lot of words to define what my vision is. And to be clear, a vision is very abstract. For me, it is the overarching theme of what you want a year to be, or what you want a decade to be. This is the decade of. This is the year of. And then you can go and separately write down specific things that you want to do on sheets of paper and a plan and strategize if you want in that way to get to specific goals that you want for a year. And that's what I do. I have the vision, which is overarching and inspirational and, pinnacle, right? And then I have journals that have specific strategy toward specific goals that I believe are walking me toward the thing that is overarching visionary. And sometimes the vision is more of a feeling. It is more of a, this is how I want to feel by the end of the year. I want to feel like I accomplished something, like I helped somebody, like I was productive. And believe me, I do. But I think I want to feel like rested and wellness. And that's the difference between my first 2024, my first year in business, and my second year in business. I have to say is that my first year in business had a lot more overarching specifics when it came down to what I want the business to be, as in what I would consider successful, aesthetics and things like that. And then 2025, it was, what do I want people to feel like when they have entered my business and when they have left? What do I want their experience to be? And so then my breakdown and strategy would usually be about how am I setting a mood? How am I arranging things, and what type of products am I bringing in, and what type of art am I showing that really makes that vision come alive to me every day. And it was a work in progress. It was steadily a work in progress, and still is. It's one of those things that just don't stop. That's another thing about a vision. Goals you can attain. You 1, 2, 3, goal made. Goal set, new goal set, 1, 2, 3, goal made, right? But a vision is just like this ongoing charge. It's an ongoing challenge that you have to yourself, so that You are attempting something new every single year. And you can't give up after 30 days. You cannot, because it's an overarching vision. You have to be working toward it in some kind of way. Um, so, as I said, every year around this time, the pressure shows up quietly, not always motivation, but as comparison. People will push this urgency on you that you have to make some type of change in your life, when in fact you don't. You don't have to make the type of change. It's like this low humming that says you should be further along. But who are these people, and why are they making you feel, why are you allowing them to make you feel like you should be further along? You are where you're supposed to be at the exact time that you're supposed to be at. And what is further along anyway? What exactly is that? Whose measure and whose standard are we going by? You should be going by your own standard, your own measure. Are you comfortable with where you are? If you're comfortable, stay where you are. If you're not, push yourself, you know. It doesn't have to be huge goals. It doesn't have to be huge visions. I have met individuals who only wanted to work a really good job. Meaning, and when they say good, they just mean a steady paycheck. Didn't have to be 6 figures. It didn't have to be 7 figures. They just wanted to be able to have a steady paycheck, take care of their family, build a family, and live their life, and then retire. And that's exactly what they did. It's what they envisioned. They like backyard barbecues. They like being able to go to church on Sundays. They like to be able to hang out with family and friends, play games. And that's it, and that was life to them, and guess what, that's okay. That was the fullness of life for them. They feel like they made it just being able to do that. And that is fabulous. There are those who have aspirations of being in specific museums, artists that want to have their work in specific museums, or they want to be able to sell their work at a particular price point. Well, guess what? They now have to work toward that vision of how they see themselves as an artist, what level they see themselves at. People have vision of how they view themselves as a family. If they want 1 or 2 or 3 children, if they don't want any children at all, if they consider marriage as an option, if they don't consider marriage as an option. But those are the types of things that require your own personal insight, your own personal comfort level. No one can tell you that you are behind in life because you're not married yet, or you don't have kids yet, or you didn't reach whatever career path you wanted that you spoke about when you were 12 and didn't know for sure that that's what you wanted to be. Or hey, you spoke about it when you were 25 and then you changed your mind. After being in the industry, you decided that's not how you wanted to live the rest of your life. That is okay. You can change your mind. Your vision can change for yourself. It is the act of experience that allows us to keep afloat when it comes to our vision. Okay, so this year isn't about resolutions. This is about learning ways to be honest with yourself, sustainable, and be supportive. Have supportive people in your life. Wrap yourself in a blanket with supportive people. Not people who don't tell you when wrong is wrong, right? But supportive people. I think sometimes when people get the idea of what support means, they think that their friends and family should only agree with them at all times. That is not the case. Supportive doesn't mean everybody just says yes to you all the time. You just have to know when to take advice and when not to take advice, or when to set boundaries and when not to set boundaries. It is up to you, the boundaries that you set with different people in your life. But do not eliminate people from your life just because they don't agree with everything you say. You need community. Everyone needs community. Um, so first, what is the vision that you have for yourself? See, this is the act. Pull out a journal, pull out a poster board, pull out a piece of cardboard. It doesn't matter what it is. You can recycle. Pull out some old fabric that you had that you've been meaning to do something with and get one of those paint markers or a permanent marker and write on it. What is the vision that you have for yourself? And it doesn't matter how unattainable you feel in the back of your head that it is. Write it down anyway. We're talking about Everest. You're talking about a pinnacle. And how many people have actually traveled to Everest? Do you hear what I'm saying? It takes a lot to get there. So if that is the vision that you have for yourself, or if it's something else that for you is your 1%, maybe it's graduating from high school. Maybe you feel like it's an impossibility. Maybe graduating from college feels extremely tough. If that is a vision that you have, that you want to rectify things with a family member, write it down. If it is a vision that you have that you want to fix things within yourself, write it down. If it is a vision that you have that you want to do XYZ with your career, write it down. Because how do you even begin to believe if you're not accepting it first of yourself? Now, like I said, visions can change. You get older, you get wiser. You realize you can only control yourself, you can't control other people. You can only do what you could do, right? But it's in the act of moving forward and trying to achieve the vision that we learn more, we do more, and we appreciate what it is that we're able to do within ourselves. And overall, you meet different people, you start to just really appreciate the life experience that you have. So here's the thing, goals are rigid. Like I mentioned earlier, it's goal 1, 2, 3, goal 1, 2, 3, right? But visions are flexible and relational, okay? They shift, they can change. That is the freedom that is in a vision that is not in a goal. Goals require focus on outcomes. It is the idea that a goal must happen, whereas a vision is just directional. It's like saying, I'm going to drive cross country. I'm gonna start here in Florida and I'm gonna go to California. But I didn't say how I was gonna go. I didn't say what mode of transportation. I don't know where I'm staying at night, but I do know that I'm gonna get to California. It's just directional. There's also no timeline on a vision. There's no end date. There's no stop. You know, it's just always, there's shift, but there's no stop. I have a picture in my house, a frame, that I put this quote down. I don't know who said this quote, but it says, a bend in the road is not the end of the road. That is what a vision is. It is directional, and you might take different turns, but it doesn't end. It doesn't end. When you vision board, or you decide to have some type of vision implementation, try to stay away from making it fixed. Stay away from it being this idea that it has to happen. It is, as I said, aspirational, not motivational, aspirational. Mount Everest, the pinnacle, right? And what I would like to encourage you to do is that you dare to put your wildest dream on there, your absolute wildest dream, and then ask yourself, how do I want this particular year to feel to me? How do I want this particular year to play out? Not the specific things that you would do, but just how do you want it to go? Do you want to be more social? I would like to be more social. You don't have to put down how, just I would like to be more social. I would like to not be as social. I would like to take more time to reflect. I would like to be more adventurous. You know, I would like to really get into religious studies. I would like to step away from school for a while and focus on something else. Whatever it is, what do you feel like this year, how do you want it to go? How do you want it to go? What do you want to feel? And that is then your vision. You can leave the strategy for the journal, for the book. But the steps and the goals, the small goals. But the vision can change. But the vision can change. You can get halfway through the year and be like, oh, I made a mistake somewhere. I decided I'm gonna go back to school. I'm gonna stay at this employer. I'm refocus my efforts on this and that. And guess what? It's okay, because you focused on how the year would make you feel, right? As long as you're not running from something out of fear. Because fear is, though necessary for survival, right? It is not and should not be the determining factor, and if you pursue something that you're aiming toward. Here's something that you should ask yourself. What are you doing out of habit versus intention? You don't have to answer it right now, although if you want to, put it down in the comments. But what are you doing out of habit and not intention? I will leave you with this. Progress doesn't need an audience. Like, you don't have to share your vision with anyone. No one. It can be your own personal vision that you have for yourself. And actually, I would encourage you not to, unless it's somebody that you 100% trust. Keep it to yourself. And just work on it in your own peaceful way. Happy New Year, and remember to like, subscribe, follow, leave a comment, share, all those different things. And I wish you a very, very happy 2026, whatever it may take you.